Hello peeps, it's the Hillbilly Halfwit today. How are you? And we've had a bit of time to do a normal video because I like doing these. And today we're going to talk about a lot of the waste with Labour. A lot of them spending millions on certain things and taking away from pensioners. There's quite a lot in this video, so please watch it till the end. I've collated a few things I've seen. There's about, from street lights being switched off, from Miliband spending millions abroad and taking it off the pensioners, to Lee Waters going on holiday and wanting suggestions where he can go for a drive. So please comment, rate and subscribe, and let's get going. Right, before I go on, I have to do this now because YouTube is so strict. So the content in this video is intended for comedic purposes only. The views expressed in this video are not to be taken as factual information or representation of my personal beliefs. I am critically reviewing the info and videos I show as examples. Right, this is what's happening in the UK now. Everybody is saying that's Spartacus in the middle, and they're calling Spartacus far right. And he was asked, "Are you far right, Spartacus?" And the bloke stood up by the side of him and said, "No, I'm far right." Then the other bloke stood up and said, "No, I'm far right." So apparently everybody who doesn't agree with the left in the UK are all far right. That is the position we are in. You're not allowed to disagree with anybody unless you're far right. That is what the UK is like at the moment. Now, this is the one that really grieves me. It gets me. This is why I started doing this channel, really. Started doing these protest things. The climate. Taxing people into poverty is not going to change the weather. Now, this is what the basics of it are. This is what is going on. They are trying to brainwash people into telling them, if we tax you more, we're going to make it cooler. And it isn't going to happen because it's all the biggest con. Now, this is Lee Waters. He's a bloke brought in 20 miles an hour. And he was sacked by the last minister. And he's worked for think tanks. He's worked for the BBC as an executive. He works for Sustrans. He's at the heart of all the commie stuff in the UK, especially in Wales. And look at this. Remember, he's working for the Welsh government. Lee Waters is looking for recommendations. I've been invited to Australia in mid-August and have the opportunity to travel around a bit between meetings. Any suggestions what to do, fun or purposeful, around these cities? Perth, Adelaide, Canberra, Sydney, Melbourne or Brisbane? We're all paying for this. Our council tax is paying for him to go over there to do these meetings. And look at the places he's going. It's a jolly. It's a summer holiday being paid for by the Welsh taxpayer. Absolute ducking. You know what I think about him. Right, as you'll know, last week, Labour in government now, and they've cut winter full payments for pensioners, not on benefits, and so they're going to have to means test them. But Ed Miliband says Labour will honour a pledge of 11.6 billion in overseas climate aid. So Energy Secretary seeks to re-establish UK as global leader on the climate crisis with the meeting at the COP. So Rachel Reeves is shafting 10 million pensioners so that Ed Miliband can give 11 billion to foreign countries to help them with non-existent climate emergency. 11 billion. It's unreal. That's a huge amount of money. That they said last week that they had a 20 billion shortfall, and they're giving 11 billion to other countries to help fund the climate. There's what's going wrong with our country. UK is spending 25 billion in a climate fund. Scotland is spending 4.7 billion in a climate fund. Wales is spending 4.8 billion in a climate fund. Remember, that's huge amounts of money, while the rest of us, they're turning off street lights in Preston and stopping libraries and closing swimming pools in Wales. This is a lady I talked about the other day when I did one of my other videos. She's been on a sick for 18 months looking after a sick husband. I, I think that's a brilliant thing to do, this lady. There's nothing at all wrong with that. But she shouldn't be on still being paid £178,000 a year while she's not at work. That is not normal. So she's staying at home for 18 months and she's got paid by the Welsh taxpayer 178,000. This is absolutely crazy. This is what's happening in Wales. We've also got another 206 million being given to Cardiff Airport and none to support Tata Steel. So if you look back in my previous videos, I've done a video on this. It was multi-millions being given to this airport, and then they've had their debt just removed, and the next thing they're up in 50 million debt again. It's the hugest money pit you'll ever see. So go and have a look in some of my previous videos. Absolutely unbelievable amount of money gone into it. Now, this is another video I did about a month ago. Remember, I did it about a bike park in Wales that they were trying to sell off to private companies because they didn't want to run it themselves, so they could sell off a publicly owned land to be used by a private company. Now, this is what's happening here. So all 3 visitor centres across Mid Wales are to close and have staff put at risk of redundancy. Natural Resources Wales has announced. Staff at the 3 sites at Bullnant Arian near Aberystwyth, Ynys Las and Coed Brenin near Dolgelly were told by email that they were at risk of redundancy on Wednesday. See, there's all method in this madness. They're threatening this and then they will sell them off to public providers to make money. That is what it's all about. I did a video on that. Go and have a look. People who would deny what I said the other day about the video I did about a week ago, new council tax ban system under Labour will push bills up by £1,230. This is what is going to happen. You can deny it all you want. They are spending money that they haven't got, and the country is skint. And where do you think it's coming from? Us. Rachel Reeves to consider pay per mile road tax as 9 billion fuel duty black hole looms. Electric vehicles should be charged on how far they drive amid declining petrol and diesel cars. So that's what's coming. We know they're going to do it in Cardiff, a pay per mile. This is what's happening. People don't realise the cars and the fuel duty in the UK pay for most of what's going on. They pay for most of our services. So when they remove them and they put them in electric vehicles, you're still going to have to pay all this fuel duty. They're not going to suddenly say you're not going to have to pay that. They're going to raise electricity bills. So when you charge your car, which is currently cheaper at night, it's going to be the same as what they were getting before. So people need to wake up about this. And by the way, 9 billion fuel duty, if you look back at the start of this video, they're giving more than that to the other countries for the climate. Miliband, isn't he? Now, this is Powys County Council. The figure was released after a talk on social media. Powys County Council has enough cash in the bank to last for just 3 months. That is reserve money, though. So I don't know if they're on reserve money, but everywhere is skint. But they're spending 4.8 billion on the climate. So that is what's happening. We're wasting money on these champagne socialist pet projects, political projects, and us, the taxpayers, are having the brunt of it. Pristine, now. Letter, dark sky status to be encouraged in Powys. Now, this is Pristine. In Pristine and Norton, this was partly to reduce light pollution, which interferes with astronomical observations. God, I can hardly say that. And has greatly helped the local Space Guard Centre. It also reduces electricity consumption and is also very good for wildlife. Recent studies have shown that there are fewer moth caterpillars on roadsides under streetlights and they are not lit. Many streetlights in the area were refurbished with LED lights. 40% of the lights have been programmed to switch off, while the remaining 60% have been preset to half their intensity after midnight. In employing such a curve and dimming profiles, light intensity and energy usage are significantly reduced while the longevity of the lights is extended. Ratas would like to see further communities seek to do this, and Powys County Council is there to help. It will not only reduce carbon emissions, but save in electricity costs and eventually council tax bills. Well, this really affects me because I've got an eye condition called retinitis pigmentosa. And in my local town, some of the lights went out, and I have a job to see even where I'm going. If I'm going into a pub when there's a step or a dark outside, I'm basically blind. The elderly are the same. Lots of elderly people have bad eyesight. This is the nuttiest proposal I've ever seen. The street lights go on till a certain time at night, and then they should be toned down. But this is on about doing it all the time. That this really affects me. It makes me mad because as soon as it goes slightly dusk with me, I go 100% blind. People making these decisions have no idea what they're on about. I call them cult people, really. They only think of one thing. They're just thinking of their religious cult of the climate and nothing else. They're not thinking about helping people. So this has been a bit of a long one. We had quite a few things in there. Thank you very much for watching. And if you go and have a look at my other videos, like I said, there's lots of stuff on there showing the amounts of money that's been wasted. So please comment, rate, subscribe. All the best. Gaz. Ta-da!